Test. All right, welcome everybody to our final race of the evening, the 72 pitch race here at Lanes Raceway. Going to try to get Chad up here real quick before we get this thing started. Racers are behind me there on the orange track getting their stuff situated and ready to roll. We are now connected to Chad here. As you can see, Gunnar Vendor, let me get this swapped here real quick. That's the rookie race going on right now. As you can see, Gunnar Vendor on red lane, Nathaniel Burden on white, Randy Kirtley on green, Jay Latham on blue, and Glenn Burden on yellow. Racers, are you ready? Watch your lights. Same old routine. 3 strikes, you're out. And the oval right now currently. Get our first yellow flag here. It looks like yellow. Gonna take a strike. So that's Glenn's first strike there. Seeing the high banks here, Jay Latham there on blue. Currently looks like he's leading. As Jay and Randy battle it out there side by side along with Gunnar Vendor. Jay Latham still hanging out there in the lead in blue lanes. He makes a little bit of a step in front of Gunnar and Randy. Not driving as deep as Gunnar and Randy there underneath Dead Man's Bridge, but Gunnar trying to make his move there on red lane side by side now with Jay Latham on blue as they rush each other side by side. It's been a flag here yet again. Looks to be Glenn Burden again. That'll be his second strike there. Jay Latham still leading the pack here just by a little bit. Randy Kirtley causing an incident there. So Jay will get to leave his car. Randy's going back to the start-finish line. That did cost Jay a little bit of time for sure. So Randy's going to get a strike here. A yellow flag here, looks to be on the backstretch, possibly. Randy Kirtley coming out again. What's wrong with it? Huh? Oh, it's good. So that's a strike there for green lane, their second. That's blue lane, gonna take a strike. That's blue's first. Got another car off here, looks to be under the bridge. I believe that's going to be Gunnar. Going to take a strike there. He hits first. Another yellow flag here. That looks to be a strike for Nathaniel Burden on white lane. So a rough start already. another yellow flag yet again. Randy Kirtley there on green, receiving his third. He's going to be coming off. And that's, looks like Nathaniel and Gunner both receiving strikes. Randy, of course, taking his third strike there. We haven't seen that in quite some time. Randy Kirtley's going to set the rest of the heat out. Latham making some quick moves here on blue lane. The car's definitely handling well this week. He was strong last week, even stronger now. You see Glenn Burden there, going to take his third strike. He's going to be setting out the rest. So already 2 people getting claimed in the first heat here. Orange track, definitely a different breed of race, and it seems like every time that we run the circle track first, we have a little bit more difficult time running the oval later. Heading over to the track, maybe we can see Jay Latham out in the lead, 34 total laps. Gunner 33 there on red, 32 for Nathaniel in third position. Glenn Burden 28 and Randy Kirtley 18. Checking in on the chat, nothing so far going on. Everything is connected, it looks like. Good to go. Head over to the oval and let you watch the rookies have their race here. And we'll be right back with you. All right, folks, back to the race. Sorry, I almost fell asleep on that one. 4 red lights are dropping out to green. Jay Latham still your leader by 1 lap. Paul like Gunner Bender there with 34, and Nathaniel with 33, now 34. as we get our first yellow flag. I think it's by the bridge here. White's there. Be a strike there for Glenn Burton, his first. Another yellow flag in the donut. Donut causing some issues tonight. So we see Nathaniel Burton there going to take a strike off of red, his first. Nice clean racing so far here. Jay Latham there with 46 total laps. Gunnar Bender there, 45 in second. Nathaniel Burton, 43 in third. Get a car upset there through the S turns there. That's going to be Nathaniel Burton there on red, going to take a strike. His second. All right, we get another incident here as we see Brennan. He's going to bring the car around there on orange, and that's going to be orange's second strike. So right now, as it is, Nathaniel and Glenn with 2 strikes. 37 seconds left to go in the heat. Best lap time turn so far, 3.329. Oh, hang on, Randy Kirtley, 3.28 now. So Randy trying to make up the lost laps here. Currently 42 laps, turning 24 so far. Jay Latham turning 25. Randy Kirtley might have to push to try to make a jump to the lead. Usually he doesn't have to. He usually holds down the orange lane quite well, as you guys know. This car definitely is a rocket ship for sure. Gunnar Bender also with a very fast car, 3.286. And a yellow flag here on cam 2. We can see 2 cars involved in an incident here. That's going to be Randy Kirtley and Gunnar. Both of them's first strike. And a red flag rotation. Going to cut these strikes out here. Take a look at the track mate. Randy Kirtley definitely turning better lap time there. 35 there on blue lane. 1 better than our current leader, Jay Latham, there on blue. So Randy does have a chance here. He's going to have to make up those about 18 laps or so that he lost. So, you know, there's making up 1. So now he needs 17 more to bring back a victory here. Currently averaging 26.5. But right now, Jay Latham, the man of the hour, turning 70 laps total, 35 on average, 68 total for Gunnar, and 34 on average. 1 lap difference between them two. And Nathaniel Burton there in third position, 62 with 31 on average. Glenn Burton with 60 laps. Checking over on the chat, nothing to be happening, but my wife over there hanging out on my top side of my chair there. Let me just double check and make sure this is working right. Let me try to reauthorize. All right, I know for sure it's good now. Okay. Heading over to the oval, let you guys watch the rookies race the GRC. I'll be right back with you. All right, full red lights dropping out to green. Here we go, going back green racing. Jay Latham, still your leader, been leading the whole race long. Swapped up one time with Randy Kirtley. Randy Kirtley, of course, popping off the track there, taking 3 strikes. Now Randy on the fight back to try to make a jump back at it. So we head over to Cam 2. It looks like a car off on the back stretch. That's going to be a strike on blue lane. Hard hit. I think Jay Latham might be involved in this one underneath the bridge. Possible loss of car. 3 laps separates Jay from Gunner. It's black lane. This will be the last time you see the orange in Lanes Raceway, as it'll get moved to the new Lanes Raceway location. 100 yards or so down the road into a bigger building. Randy Kirtley's median is about 0.2 of a second faster than everybody out there, so he's definitely making up some laps here, and he needs to if he's going to try to run and catch everybody back up. As he comes into some traffic here. Everybody running their hearts out in these 72 pitches. As you can see, they are running very, very close together, giving each other some room. The pack's starting to get waned on a little bit as Randy Kirtley comes up to make the pass there on black lane of Jay Latham. Randy Kirtley usually gives them 3 laps before he tries to make a move, so this will be his 3rd lap here. We'll get a red flag rotation. Good running for Randy Kirtley coming back in the action there. Jay Latham, good running for him, keeping it clear and holding it down for another heat. TrackMate shows Jay Latham right now 36th best lap turned, and he's tied up to Randy Kirtley there on purple lane doing so. 104 for Jay Latham, averaging 34.7. 102 averaging 34 is Gunnar Bender. 97, averaging 32.3 is Nathaniel Burden. And Nathaniel, of course, being up on the high lanes here, tying up 35 there with Gunnar. So it's going to be a close race here today. Glenn Burden, 94 laps, and Randy Kirtley, 89. Take you back over here to the oval and let you watch these rookies rumble. And we'll be right back with you. Right, 4 red lights dropping out to green. Back to the main event here at Lanes Raceway. 72-inch, 4-inch flexi class here at Lanes Raceway. Jay Latham currently your leader, 106 total laps, 2 laps up on Gunnar Bender. Let's see how long he can hold it. He's got a fast machine and he's keeping her nice and tight. Randy Kirtley trying to make a comeback here. Nathaniel Glenn caught in the middle of it all. Randy right now gaining some laps here, running a 3.324 and a 3.37. Having some bad lucks early on with the fastest car here today. Actually catching 3 strikes with about 45 seconds left to go. So get a flag on the play here. Somebody came off, I believe, underneath the bridge here. Glenn Burden there on red, take his first strike. Randy Kirtley currently 15 laps down, so from the top to the bottom is a difference of about 15 laps. What a comeback story it would be if he could make those 15 laps up in the next 4 heats. He'd almost need to get 3.5 laps per heat to be able to make that up. But I've seen it before. So just going to have to keep those veins nice and icy. They don't call him the Frost King for nothing. But how cool would it be to see him go from the bottom to the top? I'll just show everybody that anything is possible after a full-blown wreck out. There's still a whole lot more racing left to go. Anybody could wreck out in the meantime, but these cars here are so planted and just so tight that it's very, very tough to wreck out on it. Plus, the Eagle motors are really smooth. yellow flag here. Underneath the bridge. It's going to be a strike for Gunnar Bender on purple. Randy Curley able to gain right at a lap on the guys, but that's about it. So they're definitely not making it easy on him as we go to clear these strikes here. Take a look here at the track mate, Jay Latham. 34.8 in the lead, averaging 34.8 at laps with 139 total laps. 137 total laps for Gunnar, averaging 34.2. And to round up your top three, Nathaniel Burden, 131, averaging 32.8. Now, Randy and Glenn both tied at 124. So Randy's now back up in the pack at least. And it's just a hard road ahead of him for him. Heading back over here to the oval. You can watch the rookies when they come back in, probably catch a little bit before we go back racing. And be right back with you. 5 seconds, we'll be back racing, seeing those lights. Randy Curley running around the track there to get to his controller as quick as he can. And he drops it. See if he can get it back. Oh, and he does. Randy Curley currently on yellow, one of his faster tracks for sure. Like I said, nobody's making it easy though. So we get our first flag on the play here. That's going to be Gunnar. And looks like Nathaniel too. So Gunner and Nathaniel both going to receive strikes. Jay Latham, smooth as butter today, cold-blooded even, one might say. Get a double tap there going through the corner on the horseshoe. That's going to be a second strike there for Gunner. A yellow flag. I think this one might be on Jay Latham. Nathaniel and Jay. So orange and purple. Purple second. Orange is first. So this might be the heat that Randy's been waiting for, as there's a couple with 2 strikes here. Trying to make a move up. Randy and Glenn both side by side yet again. Seconds left to go. Jay Latham still in the lead by 3 laps, holding it down. Randy and Glenn turning the most laps so far, 23. Randy has that 3rd position in sight, only 5 laps down from the 3rd position. So can he fight back from last to at least 3rd? He's got 3 heats to do it in, and he's really putting forth a fight here. And that's a red flag rotation. Everybody's safe yet again. So we head over to the track mate, and we can kind of see Jay Latham out in the lead. 34.4 on average laps per heat at 172 total laps. 33.8 on average for Gunnar Vender and 169 total laps. Nathaniel Burden there in 3rd position, 32.8 on average with 164 total laps. Now Randy Curley just 4 laps down from that at 32 on average, coming back from a huge deficit. And just 1 lap different from Randy is Glenn Burden at 159 at 31.8 on average. 36 laps total is the laps to break to be the best turn lap today. Jay Latham and Randy Curley the only 2 to succeed in making 36 laps. Gonna head over to the chat and check it out. Jonathan, this orange track looks technical. It is. It's pretty rough down on the dead man's portion of the track that we call right past the start-finish line there on your left, you see. As soon as they come into that corner, every time they wreck, they're underneath the bridge. So it makes it tough if we was doing a live track to track marshal it. But the reason this is so it would fit in our basement, because this is the actual track that we built to put in our basement. So it's about 6 to 8 foot shorter than an actual Monarch Orange. But yeah, it's very tough. Let-off zone's just about where the silver pole is that's holding the TV. That's where most people let off fully and try to get back in it and make it under the bridge. Then they hold about quarter throttle and kind of milk it around the donut portion of the track, kind of slightly lifting back to 1/8 of a throttle at the top where it kind of turns over opposite camber. Then they get immediately back in it, let off and kind of milk it through the S turns. and then kind of like slowly accelerate through depending on which lane they're in. If they're in red lane, it's almost full throttle outside of the S-turn. If you go down from that to white, you know, you got to go about a car length more on green, a car length more on orange, so on and so forth, before you get back into the throttle, back through the backstretch. On the IndyCar series and certain other lightweight car series, you have to end up blipping the car. You have to end up blipping the car about where black lane is, just a little bit past where Gunner's standing right now. Fully let off, let the car's nose dive in, and then get back on it, especially if they're quick. Or it'll cause the car to pull out right before the high bank. Other than that, that's about the rhythm of the track anyway. So, pretty fun track. We've been racing on it for, well, since 2000. So, and we've never had to replace the braids. It's actually deep inset, about right at a 1/16 to an 1/8 of an inch, so that when the cars come off, they don't tear up the braid. So that's a big deal. Keeps the braid from getting tore up. Now, when we first opened here at Lanes Raceway, JK, of course, having the bigger guide flags in their Indy cars, ended up tearing up some portions of the S-turns and around the donut. It actually ripped the wood up. Cars were getting hung up. We're having to pry them out. It was weird. But nonetheless, we just outlawed the guide flags. Now it's all good. Yellow and black going to get strikes here. As we're starting to see how close this race is, getting to be about within right at 11 laps right now, from top to bottom. Jay Latham's been hanging on to it by about 3 laps this whole race long, gaining a lap every once in a while whenever he sees Gunner wreck a little bit. But Jay's definitely got his car worked out here to where it's running quite well. So we see a car coming off there in the upper right-hand portion of your screen, just past the horseshoe portion of the track. That's going to be a strike on Nathaniel Burden, his second. Cool. It's different than a regular oval. Yes, it is. Wait till next week when you see the Worlds track that we're going to be running on. Hopefully we get the cameras and stuff set up by then and have a nice live stream. If not, we'll probably use the iPad and just do it portably, so that you guys can at least see a race going down on it. Randy, of course, he's been for about the past week and a half wiring that track, and it takes quite a bit of effort to wire a full track. See, I'm just trying to think. 3,000 feet of wire is what it takes, and it's number 10, THHN, so it's quite a bit of wire, quite a bit of money to wire one. But the end, you get a nice track to run on. Flat track's definitely not everybody's cup of pudding, I guess you would say. But this flat track, at the very least, is at least a pretty grippy flat track that I've noticed. You can turn some pretty impressive times. The rhythm on it is very similar to a Blue King, except it's flat and you have to let off a little bit more. So if you know what a Blue King is, most people do. It's what they usually run the Group 7 wing cars and Group 27 wing cars and stuff like that on. As we get another yellow flag here. Let's see who it is. Looks like to be Gunner. That'll be his third strike. So Gunner's going to be coming out for the remainder of the heat. Similar thing happened there to Randy Kirtley, you know, at the beginning, taking a big hit there. Being off about a minute and a half is a hard thing to make up. Randy is doing his best to do it right now, 178. 1 lap difference between him and Nathaniel. And he may take Nathaniel this heat. And then he'll be about 10 laps different from Jay going into the final 2 heats. Randy Kirtley, like I said, very tough character to beat on this track. Hometown advantage. Everybody's waiting to run that flat track, though. They think they might have a little stab at old Randy whenever that comes to be. Equal playing ground and all. But he's just got that ice in his veins, man. Tough guy to beat, especially on these. 42 seconds left in the heat. Randy currently now in second position. So wrecking out, taking a big hit there on green lane, only turning 18 laps, but now he's back in second position. He's fought his way back up with 26 seconds left to go in a round robin 6 of 8. He's got 2 more heats. Can he make up 10 laps on Jay Latham? Right now making up 2 laps on Jay Latham. Jay, of course, going to be going to the red lane next. It's usually people's Achilles heel for sure. So he may be able to make up quite a bit and make a, from being in first early on, dropping back to last and coming back to first. What a feat that would be. A little bit of an underdog story, but in Randy's case, he's anything but an underdog. More like the Frost King here at Lanes Raceway. So the heat over after that, we'll go ahead and clear out these strikes. Take a look here at the track, Nate, and see how much difference in change that we're seeing here. Right now, Jay Latham is averaging 34.2 laps per heat. And we can see it's almost a carbon copy, maybe losing or gaining a lap between him and Randy. Now, Randy, of course, took that big hit there, 18 laps on green. So if Jay Latham keeps racing like he's racing, Randy could only make about 4 laps up. So Jay's just going to have to keep his cool here in these last 2 heats, and he'll probably stave Randy off by about 3 laps. If not, and he wrecks a couple times, it's going to give Randy that leeway that he needs to make up those 10 laps, because he's 195 to Jay's 205, just 10 different. Glenn Burton's only 1 lap down from Randy at 194, and so is Nathaniel. So it's a very, very tight race, and being that Glenn's going to his 2 favorite lanes coming up next, Randy is going to have to fight him off going to the 2 worst lanes that you can go to. So it's going to be a very interesting final little tidbit of the race. Heading over here to the oval, we can see the rookie race is over with. Now we have Gerald just out there playing around on the old, what do you call it, IndyCar that he's got. Getting some practice time in on it. IndyCar, of course, a big series here, and not only here, but pretty much everywhere I watch online, everybody's running the JK Indies. They're very spectacular looking for sure. Probably the closest thing to real life looking that I've seen in quite some time. Like Brennan's got him a car on there now. He's going to run around the old circle a little bit. He's got his smoke truck out there from the truck series. Our first truck series, not the micro truck series. Jackson, Donnie, is it working right? It is good. I'm going to bed. All right, Jackie, get you some rest, man. All right, back to racing. 4 red lights dropping out to green. Here we go. Jay Latham still holding it down by about 10 laps. Well, 9.5 actually. But nonetheless, he's keeping Randy off, and that's key. Randy's got to worry about keeping Nathaniel and Glenn off, as there's only 1 lap difference between them 2, as we see Randy hitting the track call button right now. So his car actually coming all the way over to green lane. Randy's going to take a strike there on white lane. He definitely does not like a white lane. White lane on the oval, white lane on the orange. Treats him more. Red lane on the orange, on the other hand, though, is a very fast thing. We see Randy there using the braid roller on cam 2. We can probably get a little bit better look here. He's rolling the braid down. It's sometimes the guys come in there and get a little bit over assertive. They'll roll the inside of that braid up. And where we've had so much damage with the bigger guide flags, that wood has kind of unsettled itself. Humidity and stuff plays a big factor too. But for 2 23-year-old track, not too bad. Well, I guess it's 2024, so a 24-year-old track. We did see last week that guy's selling a Monarch Orange. And, I talked to Randy about that a little bit. I mean, it would be a pretty good little track to try to fix up a little bit. So strike there for red and white. Randy taking another hit there. He's on 2. He can't afford to wreck again. Jay Latham probably not going to let him have too much leeway here, as Jay can't afford to let Randy pass him. Nathaniel Burden and Glenn Burden now taking over Randy Kirtley. 1 lap up on them, but they're just battling it out there for second position. Gunnar Bender back in the mix after a long hiatus from last heat. He's now turning 200 laps. Well, his car come off on the back stretch. Now taking 200 laps. So we get a yellow flag here. Looks like Glenn Burden's car coming off there right on the edge of the donut. Gonna take a strike there on purple lane. Color of your orange track is what my track oval is. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we tried to go for a color called tangerine, because that's what we actually call the track. Even though it's modeled after a Monarch Orange, we looked for the color tangerine back then, and that was it. You know, it's actually called the Atomic Tangerine is the name of the track, because it's a small Monarch Orange. About 30 seconds left to go in the heat, and right now Jay Latham is up by 8 laps. Nathaniel Burden there in second, tied with Glenn and Randy. It's a battle of the ages here for second place here. See you guys. What's that? If you see me down there, just come on in, Gerald. I'll be down there tomorrow. See you, Gerald. All right, looks like Jay Latham's going to grab his car, pull it around, put her on there on the red. He's going to take a strike, his second. Him and Randy Kirtley on the bubble. They both got to stay in, or danger can ensue. 11 seconds left to go in the heat. So tomorrow and the next day, I'll be breaking these tracks down. I'll be actually breaking them down tomorrow all day, wire nutting up the wire and making sure they're labeled really good so that we can take them a section at a time and actually rebuild them down at New Lanes Raceway and try to get all that done by this Thursday. So it's a big undertaking, but I think it'll be worth it. The guys will have so much more room down there, a better facility altogether. So we take a look here at the track mate. Jay Latham holding it down. He's tied up with everybody other than Gunnar on red, 30. So 30 is definitely the average for sure on red lane, turning an impressive 33 laps, which is a little bit above average on white lane. So if Jay can just hold it off here on green lane, he'll bring home a victory today, well deserved. Hardly any wrecks. I think he's wrecked maybe 3 times this whole race. 235 total laps for Jay Latham in first, 33.6 on average. 229 for Glenn Burden, 32.7 on average, tied with Nathaniel Burden, also with 229. Randy Kirtley, 228 laps and 215 for Gunnar Bender. I like the gray, shows the rubber buildup better. And the owner does not clean the track. He'll run to pick up anything that may fall off the track. Falls off the cars, I mean from accidents, VR, whatever. He does glue the track from time to time, but not too heavy. We usually run on the track. You can see it's kind of building rubber there in the high banks and stuff. It's a very steep high bank, about 45 degrees, so it takes a lot of that fish rubber. We usually run anywhere from 1 series to 2 series, and then we'll clean the whole track and I spray glue it. Usually when the guys are just like, hey, we need to clean the track, I clean it. But a lot of the times we like to let it build up too, as it grips better, and they can run different types of tire compounds to help them out, especially with like the wing cars and stuff. As for the parts, whatever parts we find, we put them in a little bucket, and if somebody ends up like, oh man, I need a pin or something, we always check that before actually charging them for parts. And sometimes I get lucky and find brand new bushings and all kinds of stuff. So we've got plenty of parts that we vacuum up on a weekly basis. Fellow racer here, First Class Detailing, that's Tom Payton. He was in a battle with Randy Kirtley in the wing car the last time we ran it for the red for the Red Crown last year. They had a face-off, so that was pretty cool. I probably shouldn't be drinking Dr. Pepper this late at night, but nonetheless, I like Dr. Pepper. So here we go, back to racing. 4 red lights dropping out to green yet again. And we see the one car that ended up coming off there on Black Lane. Glenn Burton back in the mix. 230, 230, 230 for a battle of the second. Nathaniel Burton, if he could, make 7 laps. He's got a chance at this, but Jay Latham definitely running an impressive green lane so far. Very quick, very smooth. Funny thing, we was just talking about it. Jay Latham, he took the risk. He runs angled pinion, and he's sorted it in backwards, kind of like how Cleave Tech does. And it's a risky thing, you know, a very hairline deal that you're dealing with when you sorter those in backwards. But if you get it right, like Jay's got it, as you can see, it's very smooth, quick on acceleration, quick on braking. And of course, not only that, Jay has been working on this car all season long to get her nice and flat and running, and I think he's really got a car to run with. If I was going to pick a class to go on to the 4 crowns for our final crown, it would probably be this one. Just simply because how smooth these cars are, how well they run, and how competitive these guys are. As you can tell here, I mean, they're battling for second place within 1 lap of each other. That's going to be a strike there on green lane for Jay. Now, Jay can't have too many of those, as he's going to give up another lap here from 7 to 6 now. 1 minute and 9 seconds left to go. Gunnar Bender making the most laps so far. Randy Kirtley really wanting to catch Glenn and Nathaniel. But he is about a half a track down from Nathaniel and about a quarter of a track down from Glenn. He's got 41 seconds left to go. He's going to have to really push it on red lane, the toughest of the lanes, as he comes to reel in green lane at Jay Latham. 30 seconds left to go. He makes a pass. Oh, but he gets sent. See his car barely there at the bottom of your screen there. Randy Kirtley's going to be taking a strike here on red lane. So now Randy all but solidified there in 4th position, unless he does some crazy stuff or people wreck in front of him. But Glenn and Nathaniel holding it down, tying up lap for lap here, 26 on it. Glenn Burton with a nice 3.45 median. Of course, you know Glenn Burton, he loves running the black lane. As we do get some cars coming off here in the donut. That's going to be 2 cars, Jay Latham and Gunnar Bender. Jay Latham taking another strike. Gunnar taking his first. Now Jay's got 2 strikes, 24 seconds left to go. He cannot afford to wreck, as there is only a 4 laps difference between him and Glenn. Jay's been leading this whole race long. He just needs to hang it out, put her on cruise control for the next 20 if he wants to bring home a win here. Because it is definitely a nail biter, to say the very least. Seven seconds left to go. And that pretty much puts Jay Latham in first position for this race as we get the checkered flag there. See a little video glitch there as it took 2 seconds. All right, go ahead and clear the strikes because the race is now officially over with. And let's take a look at TrackMate. Jay Latham, what a race he's had. Didn't really experience too many wrecks up until the final heat, the race before, or the heat before the 8th on 7th heat. He had a wreck or two. But other than that, pretty flawless race there by Jay Latham. 266 total laps, averaging 33.2. Glenn Burden there in second place, really battling it out. Got it within 3 laps, 263 laps, 32.9. And tied up with Nathaniel Burden at 263. And that'll go down to whoever finished in front of who on the track there, which I'm sure they've already pulled their cars. 262 for Randy Kirtley there, just 1 lap down from those guys, actually having a horrible green lane and fighting his way all the way back there, and actually turning the most laps turned at 36, tied up with Jay Latham, both the only two to turn 36 laps. Gunnar Vender there in last place, 250, having a horrible yellow lane there, and that ended up costing him first place. He was in first place and dropped all the way down to the back. Heading over here to the chat real quick, and it says here exact same as him, just not cleaning part. It's been a while since he re-glued it, so hopefully he does it after I'm done for the year. Big Canned RTV, when will we get a safety car? Yeah, that would be something. Maybe in the dirt classes, you know, we'll have the, you know how they always line them up 4 wide. Maybe we'll have like a preliminary, put a safety car in the front and drive them 4 wide so all the fans can see them before we start the race. You know, we've thought about that before. We actually took a picture of them being 4 wide. But, you know, safety car, they are cool. Maybe on the flat track, you know, they do make safety cars on the flat track. That you can get, like the Scale Electrics and stuff like that. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, what a race weekend we've had. So far this Sunday, we started out with the late model series. You guys seen what a good time we had there. A lot of beating and banging back and forth. But ultimately a pretty smooth little race. And then, of course, after that, we had the IndyCar, which is a whole nother breed, fast and furious, but really tight, good, close handling cars there on the oval. And then we finished up 72 pitch here on the orange. Now, next week, it's going to be 2 races on the orange and then 1 race on the oval. So our rookie series race will take place either our first or second race on the orange. Nonetheless, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless you, and I'll see you next week, hopefully, if we can get the cameras and stuff going. If not, we'll post some stuff on Facebook, and I'll get the iPad out if I have to and do it the old school way. Take an iPad around so you guys can see the race at the new facility. God bless you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Please like, subscribe, and share to your buddies and friends. And if you're in the local area, or if you're not in the local area, come down and race with us sometimes. If you race 1 race, you can at least get a shirt and take it home with you. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.